Joe from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and I have a very short video for you today. I am going to show you one glorious Cattleya orchid that has just opened, and also we're going to collect the pollen of a Hippeastrum. So let's have a look. This morning we have a little bit of sunshine and I'm making full advantage of it to film these two beauties that opened recently and I just couldn't capture because the light was too dull. And here we have my pink pig, which is a fabulous orchid with Douentza in the parentage, and you can see that amazing lip with all that frilliness that comes directly from the parent Douentza, which is a species and has that as a major characteristic. Just one flower again this year, but it is enormous. Now we're getting a better view of the rest of the plant, which has lots of pseudobulbs, but they never look very impressive. They kind of lie down on the job with a little bit of wrinkling as well. And some of them are very red from the grow light. Here you can see the reddish hue, and the grow light really makes the backs of the leaves turn red, which is strange. However, I first thought it was a magnesium deficiency, but no, this plant gets plenty of magnesium. It's not that, and it happens directly after I put it under the grow light, so it is a direct consequence of too much light. However, it doesn't seem to do the plant any harm. I think it's 3 years I've had this plant now, and it's flowered each year, each time just with one bloom, but as you saw when I put my hand in there, it really is a very large bloom. This year I thought there were two coming because of the way the bud presents when it comes first out of the sheath. It seems to be split in two, it seems to have two segments to it, but no, just one flower. And lots of colours in there in the throat. Well, not lots of colours, but there's a pronounced yellow, a little bit of orange, a definite cream, and then it fades to pink on the outside. And today we're going to concentrate on the Hippeastrum, which is this beauty beside the orchid rather than the orchid itself, because I have something specific I want to do. So this is Hippeastrum papilio, which is an epiphytic Hippeastrum from South America. And the most significant thing for the purposes of this video is that it is not self-fertile. Normally you can pollinate Hippeastrums with themselves, but papilio is a bit different. It's not self-fertile in the same way as lilies in general aren't self-fertile. It relies on genes from outside of itself for a healthier offspring, which is a shame because, as you can see, the female part of the plant here is receptive and open and could receive pollen if I had any pollen from another plant. But what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the pollen from the lower part, from the male parts of the plant, because my friend has one of these plants and I'm going to send it to her so she can pollinate her papilio. So I'm just going to use a little bit of greaseproof paper and cut off a square. To catch my pollen in. Now normally what you could do is just take a paintbrush and dab it on the pollen here and then transfer the pollen into the female parts of the plant, but because this isn't self-fertile we can't do that, and I'm just going to collect the pollen, and the easiest way to do this is to just snip off the anthers, which are the male parts. Now I can do this and catch them on the greaseproof paper. Seems such a shame, and you can see that there is pollen because you can see it has stained the lower petal. And we're now just going to rotate the plant so that I can do the same thing for the other flower. And now we're just again with the greaseproof paper underneath to catch the anthers. There you can see, all gone. My poor flower. However, this isn't going to make it fade any quicker. If I'd pollinated it, it would have faded quicker. Because the only reason the flower is there is to attract pollinators. And once it's pollinated, then the flower fades very quickly. But we haven't done that, so I might have flowers for the longest time. The next thing is to kind of try and remove the pollen from the anthers and just kind of shaking it about a bit. And you can see that yellow gloopy stuff is the pollen coming off. And then we need to dry it. And ideally silicone is the way to go for drying pollen, but I don't have any, so we're just going to have to air dry it. This is so fiddly. Lots of pollen on there. And after that fiddly operation, you just need to leave it in a warm, dry place for a couple of days to dry out before storing. It can be stored frozen. And so that brings us to the end of this video about collecting Hippeastrum pollen for later use, specifically the pollen of Hippeastrum papilio, the gorgeous epiphytic Hippeastrum. And we also had a look at my gorgeous pink pig in full bloom. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!